If you bought a car with a 5-star ANCAP'S safety rating dated before 2018, did you know that child occupancy protection was not even taken into account? All that changed in early 2018 when ANCAP introduced child dummies and child occupancy protection to its crash testing. The Mazda CX-8 was the first car to be tested in Australia under this new protocol and did exceptionally well. ANCAP Chief Executive James Goodwin said, "Good levels of performance were achieved by the CX-8 in the area of child occupant protection, with our assessment engineers praising its ability to safely accommodate child restraints in all 5 seating positions." So I brought one along to CrashLab in Sydney today to meet ANCAP'S Chief Technical Officer Mark Terrell to ask him about the CX-8 and the new child occupancy protection testing. Stay tuned to find out why Mark recommends keeping your child in a booster seat until they're at least 10 years old. Mark explained that one of the reasons for introducing child occupancy protection was so that ANCAP could share their protocol and testing with Euro NCAP.
That is certainly a factor, being able to share results, but also as an opportunity for us to go into the back seat and to improve the safety specification of vehicles.
Can you tell us a little bit about the child occupancy testing, the new testing?
Yep. There's 3 parts to our rating for what we call child occupant protection. The first part is a crash test. In fact, there's 2 crash tests. One is a frontal offset crash test, which is the same test that we've been running for 20 years. Yep. But we have, since the start of 2018, we have child dummies in the rear, yep, in the outboard left and right side seats, yep, and those scores count towards the overall rating. So you've got to do well with the children in the rear seat to get a 5-star car.
The second crash test that now has the 2 child dummies in the back is the side impact test. Mark explains that they also assess the safety features of the vehicle in regards to the child occupants, like the length of the seatbelt and things like airbag disabling. They have also introduced the installation of child seats to their testing.
The other significant thing is we then do installation of a range of typical child seats in the seats in the car. So wherever there is a seat with a top tether, we will take our collection of child seats, yep, and actually fit them in each position and make an assessment of whether they can be safely fitted in the vehicle. Yep. So that gives the potential owners of the vehicle or users of the vehicle an idea of which child seats they can put in which positions.
Yeah. And you test those with the ISOFIX as well as the seatbelt?
That's right. So, yep, so in Australia, all seats, if they have ISOFIX, must also be able to be installed with the adult belt. Yep. So we do both. So for those seats we actually install them, and 2 of the seats are actually reversible as well. Yep. So from one seat we get 4 installations, yep, in those ISOFIX positions, yep, which is a lot of work, but it gives a lot of information about how people may choose to put those seats in the car. Yep. So
what about our younger occupants in child seats? I asked Mark why they are using 6 and 10-year-old dummies rather than infants and toddlers and younger dummies.
The reason that we are testing since the start of last year with the 6 and 10-year-old, yeah, because they are using the adult belt, and it's actually part of the car that is restraining them. So it's really about how good the car is, yeah, rather than how good the child seat is. Right. And that's where we see our role being.
But with the younger, so if you were to use younger dummies, then it's actually then the job of the restraint to protect them.
So it is. It's still, again, you want a car that has a good crash pulse. Yeah. So that still is part of the mix, but it's really then crash pulse and child seat rather than crash pulse, restraint and child seat. So we get.
Mark explained how they use the readings from the 6 and 10-year-old child dummies to inform them about the seat belts in the car.
So we get more out of the child dummies, and things like on most modern cars you'll have pre-tensioners in the, yep, seatbelt, which actually tighten the seatbelt at the start of the crash. Yeah. and then load limiting that limits the force that's transmitted through the chest of the occupant.
Yep.
So it's much more about what the car can do, and if you have a car that does well for a 6 and 10-year-old, then the chances are that car is going to do well for, say, a rearwards facing in a baby capsule or that sort of thing. So that's the logic behind the choice of dummies.
How do you choose the child seats you use?
In the crash test, it is the manufacturer's choice which they use. We don't actually say which restraints are used, because again we're testing the car, not the child seat. So we're rating the car, and across the range of occupants and across the range of crashes and so on, the expectation is that other similar booster seats will perform similarly.
Yeah. The full width frontal crash test is representative of a head-on crash. It does not currently have child dummies in it. However, it does have a 5th percentile adult female, which Mark explained is the same size as an average 12-year-old child, which tells ANCAP and us a lot about our precious kiddies after they come out of their child restraints.
That test is still telling us things about the back seat, and that test encourages manufacturers to put advanced restraints that we used to only see in the front seats into the back seat.